Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Fatemi. Getting right back into it here, we're going to take a look at the New York Knicks Detroit Pistons series. 2 games this weekend, both Friday and Sunday. Both games in Detroit, both massive games that flew way under the radar, way more than they should have. And because of it, the 2 games that the New York Knicks, both game 3 was more of an all-around game for the New York Knicks. From start to finish, they led that one. So I wouldn't call that one much of a steal. But game 4, Cade Cunningham showed up and showed out and did his best to will this team to a game 4 win. And they still fall in this one. And the New York Knicks now take a 3-1 commanding lead going back to New York, looking to close out the series on Wednesday night. We're going to take a look at both sides of this one, from the New York Knicks to the Detroit Pistons. What really led to the New York Knicks possibly winning this series on Wednesday, or in general, whether it's Wednesday, whether it's Friday back in Detroit. In general, I'm picking New York to win this one. It's just for the Detroit Pistons team, a young group that doesn't have a whole lot of experience. It's just what else can you expect from them? They're doing the best they can, and I just don't know if I can't pick them to win 3 out of their last 4 games. So that'll probably be that. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I see it, and it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. And I've mentioned it before, you guys are a big part of what we do here. Let us know what we're doing well. Let us know what we can improve upon. And we're just looking to create a better product for you guys here. You guys are a big part of what we do, so we appreciate everything, the good, the bad, any criticism or comments at all. Please let us know in the comment section below. But not before I move any further, let's get right into it here, because this series is one that's just been one crazy roller coaster ride, physical series. The Bad Boy Pistons, and this year's Bad Boy Pistons 2, whatever you want to call it, the recreation, the resurrection, whatever you want to call it, this series has proved it. This series, the Detroit Pistons have proved it. They have earned that title, and they absolutely deserve it. Cade Cunningham finishing with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Second player in Detroit Pistons history with a triple-double outside of Isaiah Thomas back in the day in the 90s. Major props to Cade Cunningham, a young, prospering star that's growing into the league, that if they can continue to build around him, if he can continue to gain experience, Jalen Duren continues to grow. Jaden Ivey comes back into the lineup. Isaiah Stewart, Asher Thompson, Malik Beasley stays with the team and continues to grow with the young guys and mentor them as Beasley's more of I wouldn't call him a veteran, but he's in the prime of his career at 29 years of age, or going to be 29 years of age next year. They have a great group of guys around this team, and they have a legit defense. They have one of the best defense in the NBA. They've proved it time and time again. They proved it last night. But the star of this one, there were 2 stars of this one. As much as I love Cade Cunningham, 3 if we're including Cade, but 2 of them were on the New York Knicks yesterday. One of them's name is Jalen Brunson. And we all know I was going to say that name, Jalen Brunson being the leader of this team, with finishing with 32 points and 11 assists. Did have a little bit of an injury scare in the middle of the third quarter, going down with an ankle injury. I believe it was either Asher, I think it was Asher Thompson. I can't remember exactly who. I believe it was Asher Thompson, but basically the ball going out of bounds, loose ball. Jalen Brunson, Asher Thompson diving for it. Jalen being closer to it, diving on it first. Asher pretty much kind of not landed, but got his leg tangled with Jalen Brunson's leg. Unfortunately, it was the same ankle that Brunson hurt earlier in the season, about a month, not even 2 months ago, about a month and a half ago against the Lakers. Same ankle. We're still waiting to hear if it was an ankle injury or a knee injury. But basically, it was his left leg. Same leg that he hurt a month and a half ago. Same leg that he came back pretty quickly from. Whether it was speedy, whether it was early, that's remained to be seen. We'll never know. But I personally didn't think Jalen Brunson was going to come back to this one. I thought Jalen Brunson was going to be done, sit down, wait the rest of game 4 out. New York Knicks probably go back to Detroit 2-2, and that would be that. But Jalen Brunson had other plans in this one. Jalen Brunson coming back in the fourth quarter, honestly showing up and showing out, carrying this offense over the last 8 minutes or so. And outside of the next player I'm going to be talking about, Jalen Brunson was the MVP of this game. He was the reason why they won this game, and him being able to facilitate the offense, whether it was carrying them offensively, scoring wise, or facilitating players to be open, regardless of what it was. Major props to Jalen Brunson, because he's an absolute warrior the way he came back from his injury, because that did not look like a pleasant injury. He looked like it was on a lot of writhing in pain, could barely walk off the court with a significant limp. And for him to come back, and probably, I would say, 8 minutes later of game clock, probably 20 minutes of real time, he just showed out. He showed out in unbelievable fashion. Major props to him. But the next player I want to talk about, that was really the star of the show, specifically over the last 2 minutes, is Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns going into halftime had 3 fouls, and I thought that was going to be a big deal in this game. I thought he got into foul trouble early, and it was going to come back and haunt him, especially in the fourth quarter. But the way Karl-Anthony Towns shot the basketball at the end of this game, shooting 5 of 7 from 3-point range, I believe he scored 3 threes in a row. No, I think he scored 2 threes and then one ridiculous behind the backboard shot from the corner, falling away into the sideline, literally behind the basket. With, I think it was 2:30 left in the game at that point. There's highlights of it everywhere. But Karl-Anthony Towns was a major reason why they won this game. Both teams throwing haymakers at each other, and over the last four minutes of this one, just going back and forth. Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Brunson. Tobias Harris hitting clutch threes. Malik Beasley hitting a clutch 3. Overall, major props to Karl-Anthony Towns for his performance, and without him, I don't think they win this game either. They took a 3-point lead over the last. Well, at the end of this game, it is a little bit of a questionable finish, because at the end of this game, Tim Hardaway Jr. did have a lot of contact on a 3-point shot. I believe it says the final score of this one was 94-93. I'm trying to. Was it a 1-point game, or was it it must have been. I think Cade Cunningham went down the lane to shoot a floater, missed. This was over 10 seconds or so. Missed a floater, and then came back around and kicked it out to the corner to Tim Hardaway Jr. and contact Josh Hart trying to close out on the play. Tim Hardaway Jr. leaning into him, trying to draw contact, and basically it looked like a lot of contact in general. Tim Hardaway Jr. kind of going up. He wasn't intentionally trying to lean into him, it didn't look like, because the amount of time that was left, there was about a second left for Tim Hardaway Jr. to get it off. And Josh Hart pretty much closing out with a lot of contact on the elbow, on the shooting hand in general. And it just looked like a foul. Whether I believe the referees came out after the game and said it should have been a foul. Coach JB Bickerstaff having a lot of words for the referees in this one. But the end result is what it is. You can't go back and change it. Josh Hart did finish with the game's clinching defensive play on Tim Hardaway Jr. Hardaway missing everything on the shot, did not even get it on the rim, and that was it. It's a 3-1 lead in favor of New York. They win both games in Detroit. Detroit still has not won a playoff game in Detroit since 2008. I believe it's now tied for the longest streak in NBA history in terms of home losing streak in the playoffs. And yeah, a tough performance, a bad performance. I don't know if I can call it a bad performance. Cade Cunningham did the best he could in this one. But this series either ends in 5 or 6 games. I don't think it goes 7 anymore. I don't think, unless I'm not picking them. I picked the Pistons to win this series. I can't pick them in this one. If it was 2-2, I don't even know if I could pick them in the 2-2 series, because I think the experience means so much more in Game 5s, Game 6, and especially in Game 7s. So I was still going to pick the Knicks if the Pistons had to win both of these games at home if they wanted a chance. If they wanted to close out the series to give themselves a chance, win one of the last 3 games, I would give them that credit, and I would have said they probably would be able to do that. But that's neither here nor there. The end result is in, and the New York Knicks are up 3-1 in this series. So that'll be that. They'll probably face the Boston Celtics in the second round. We'll talk a little bit about them later on in this show, but I'm going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the Indiana Pacers series versus the Milwaukee Bucks, a series that's gone completely under the radar recently. Damian Lillard returning Game 2 for the Milwaukee Bucks. They of course win Game 3. I haven't been able to talk about that very much because both games on Friday and Sunday. But we're going to talk a little bit about Game 3, how Milwaukee really came back and won this game in decisive fashion, how they did. One player in particular being a major factor in this one. So we're going to talk a little bit about them, and then talk a little bit about Damian Lillard's injury scare as well in this one, because unfortunately, this could be the end for Damian Lillard in Milwaukee for this season. We'll see if he comes back. We haven't really seen players come back from major injury, especially the one that Damian Lillard might have just suffered. But we're going to come back from a short break and discuss a lot about Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Don't go anywhere.